Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Key and Peele Stardom or Sit-em for Week 5. I'm here with Gavin Leach.
And I'm here with Ben Flounders.
So, for our first starter sit, we're going to look at a quarterback by the name of Aaron Rodgers. If I pull up my phone from my trusty tool bag, Week 1 it says he has 18 fantasy points off of 338 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he also had 4 interceptions and a fumble, which is slightly concerning. But slowly, over the weeks, he started to gain more points. Although he's kind of plummeted, I'd say he's about plateaued.
Yeah, he's plateaued.
It's
early in
week
the
4.
season, so
Yeah.
he's still got some time though.
It's mixed emotions, but
Yeah.
what do you think about this, Gavin?
As you see next week, they play Baltimore.
Baltimore
So,
is a good team.
Baltimore is a good team, but I think he's going to come out, and I say, start him!
Start him!
Start him! All right.
Next player we have Exquistine Bubble Schwinslow.
Man, I love this kid.
This kid is very promising. He's a rookie, but he's
yeah.
doing good.
Mm-hmm.
But his fantasy stats say otherwise.
Yeah.
Week 1 and Week 2, actually, he had 3.9
3
fantasy
points.
points. He had 7 targets Week 1, which is promising, but only 2 receptions off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Week 3, though, he had 13 points.
Against Seattle.
It's Seattle.
it's Seattle.
But that's still very promising
Yeah.
for a rookie.
Yeah, I would say
Week
that.
4, though, he went back down to Cleveland, and he had 3.5 points off of a 25-yard reception. What do you think about this, Gavin?
Well, I don't know, man. I loved him in college. He was really good in college.
Yeah, he was very good in college.
But, he's on a team where it's, not around him. He's not getting many touches.
I get that.
They played Tampa Bay.
He does have a stacked receiver core.
That is true. I say sit him because other receivers are just going to go ahead of him. So, just sit him.
Sit him!
Sit him! All right. As we go on to our next one, we got... Oh, man. This man's a character.
Now, he's very promising. He started off a hot Week 1
Oh,
with
yeah.
27 fantasy
went
points against Houston.
Off against Houston.
Week 2, he sat. He had an ankle injury. But Week 3, he was back for Kansas City and dropped 15 points in the bucket.
Kansas City, that's still good.
He's slowly been on the decline, though. Tennessee, he had 6 points. So we have a slight lookout for Week 5 against Denver, which has a very good secondary.
Oh, yeah. I personally think put him at flex.
Put
him at flex.
I would say he's a very safe flex play
Safe
this week.
flex. Not starting receiver, but flex, which is good. So, start him.
Start him!
Start him. All right. Next, we got
Hingle McCringleberry.
Hingle McCringleberry.
Now, this
Oh,
man is an absolute stud.
It's
He just came out of a slow start, but he's really pulled it together in these 4 weeks. Started out with 11 fantasy points off of 7 targets and 4 receptions. But after the weeks, he's gone 19.7, 17.7, 16.2. He's really brought his campaign back. He's been averaging about 8 or 9 targets per week, and he's just had a great workload. Next week, he faces Indy, and Indy's been pretty bad recently. They're very bad.
Yeah. So, as we can see, Hingle McCringleberry, we gotta start him.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta start him.
He
It's
is a
an
stud.
obvious. Start him.
Start.
All right, I got this one.
Okay.
All right, this one's a handful, man. We got Jamar. I can't even know how to pronounce it, man.
Javaris
Javaris
Lamar.
Man, I personally think he's doing really good. He started off the week, first week, 17.7 points. Was mid. He did a mid performance.
It's all right, though.
Yeah, he's all right.
It's week
But
1.
next week, went off on Baltimore. 40 points?
40 points is
40
absolutely
points.
crazy.
And that week, he had 171 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and 19 targets.
But if you look after that week, 15 points, 6 targets. He went from 19 targets to 6 targets. And then the week after, 5.9 points off of 5 targets. He's a very risky play.
Yeah.
Very, how would you say it? He's very inconsistent in his play.
Inconsistent. That's
very
good.
inconsistent. Sometimes he gets fed. Not to mention his quarterback got injured. So he's a
yeah,
very
that's
risky
right.
flex play for this week.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Start or sit?
As they play New Jersey, New Jersey's mid. they
New
just
Jersey
they
is
just came off a
very
win
mid.
off the Steelers, which I'm sad about. But I think you need to sit Lamar, or whatever his freaking name is. I don't even know.
Sit him.
Sit him. He's just not going to do good this week.
I agree. All right, this next player. This guy can put in work, but for right now, he's been very risky.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be Junior.
Man.
I know he's been dealing with injuries a lot, but still, I feel like he's very unsafe to play, unless you need a desperate flex play.
Yeah.
Week 1, 16 points. He had 5 receptions.
It was all right.
It's all right,
Yeah.
but he had 10. It's very alarming because week 1 he had 10 carries for 26 yards.
Yeah.
Week 2 he had 7 carries for 25 yards. Week 3, 13 for 39.
Mm-hmm.
Week 4, 15 for 55. He's just not having the workload you'd
No.
expect a running back one.
No, not
It's
really.
it's a very scary sight to see, especially if you drafted him early.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
His receiving game is very consistent though. He's averaging 3 targets a game.
Yeah.
But if you look at the fantasy point perspective, 16.5 points, which is all right, 7.1, 8.7, and 10.7. So in my opinion, I think that we should sit him this week.
Yeah, I have to agree with that because they play Philly, and Philly's
Philly's got a
number
great
one
defense,
in the league.
yeah.
And they got great defense. He's just not going to get much
bunch of young
much
studs.
yard.
They're going to have to play
yards.
from behind, so
Yeah.
they're going to have to throw more instead of
Mhm.
passing.
Yeah, so
Sit them.
as our next player, we got. Man, I'm so bad with English.
I got you.
I
Alrighty, this next player, we have lotta, dollar.
try to pronounce that twice.
And this guy is also a pretty risky pick. Had a slow start, but he's starting to bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
Week 1, he had 8 points, which is all right. I mean, he had carry for 7 yards, but he's had 3 receptions for 43 yards. Week 2, he had the same exact reception count. And then he had 6 targets on that week for 13 points. Week 3, New Orleans, 2.5 fantasy points, which is very alarming for a
Yeah.
receiver of his caliber.
Very, very alarming. And
Week 4, he brings it back slowly. 12 fantasy points, a carry for 11 yards, and 11 targets. That's a very great workload. But if you look at the weeks previous, he's only had 6. So I think that this is an outlier in his statistics.
yeah, it's very hard to decide on him. Even they play San Francisco, and San Francisco's doing all right.
San
They're not
Francisco's doing
that bad.
very good.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with this man because he can do really good, but then there's some days where he just doesn't do good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
understand that. Yeah.
It's your choice. I don't know what to do with him.
I think he's a borderline super flex play.
Okay.
I would not play him in a
Yeah.
standard 10-person PPR flex league, but
Yeah.
I would play him if I needed a super flex.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I say, somewhat start him.
Solid. Yep. I have to agree.
Alrighty, this next player, he's one of my favorites, and that would be
Oh.
the Catholic Mango.
I love this man.
The Catholic Mango is an absolute stud. Starting off the season with
Stud.
14 points and slowly building it up to 28 and 20 points respectively.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you look at his target count, it starts off with 6 targets, which is okay, but he's a wide receiver 1, so it's a little alarming. But
Yeah.
as the season goes, he goes 11, 17, and 11 targets respectively. That is stud numbers right there. And if you see against the LA Rams, week 3, 14 receptions for 140 yards.
140.
That man didn't
Oh
even get a
my.
touchdown, and he still balled out. That man is a legend.
Man.
So, I mean, I don't know about you, but
well,
this is
this
an
is
immediate
obvious.
must start.
Must
That is a
start.
lineup lock right there.
Yeah, they're gonna basically defeat, and he plays Philly as well.
He does play Philly, but he will burn
He
Philly.
will burn. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Darius Slay is not ready for him.
Would you like to get this one, Gavin?
Oh, I would love to get this one. Now, this man, he's had a good start. One rough week, but that was against the Bills.
Bills,
The Bills-
is a top 3 defense.
Yeah, top 3 defense. So it's understandable. This man, the player formerly known as Mouse Cop, man, I just love his name. I love the symbol too. That's just
He's a unique player.
He's a unique player.
Very unique
One of a
guy.
kind. So, in my opinion, he's doing really good. He has 18 points the first week, 42 points the second week, 5 points against Buffalo, like I said.
I believe that third week, though, he did get injured with cramps.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that's. And I think he left halfway in the game.
I'm pretty sure about that.
And he also had a poop as well.
If you look at his target count, though, he had 12, 13, and 14 carries in that week that he did not get injured.
Oh, yeah.
That is great numbers for a wide receiver one. And he's the only weapon on his team that will get a chance.
Oh, yeah.
He has a very great shot as a league winner, and I think that he is a lineup lock and a must start.
Oh, yeah.
Start.
Must start.
I dropped my phone.
Yeah, and you dropped your phone. All right.
Not my stats.
Not the stats. All right. As the next one, we have Devoyne Shower Handle.
Devoyne's a great player.
He's a classic. He's just like every other player. Like, he's really good.
He's been great for his team.
Especially
Seriously.
this year. Mm-hmm.
If you look, he's got a great start. 14 points, 12 points, 28 points, 20 points. But I think he's a little concerning.
Mm-hmm.
His other two wide receivers, the wide receiver one that was in his offense, because he is the wide receiver two.
Yeah.
The wide receiver one is offense, and the wide receiver three have both been injured. But the wide receiver one is coming back, and they just signed another wide receiver off the practice squad.
Oh.
So I think his playability is a little concerning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have to agree. I don't know. It's a tough decision on my hand.
It is a tough decision. He has been studying out.
Yeah.
The quarterback has shown great chemistry with him as well.
Mm-hmm. So, my defense, maybe flex, maybe not.
Flex play.
Start him. Oh, boy.
All right. This player, I'm pulling out from my toolbox. He is the weekly tool alert. Do not start this man.
Don't start him.
This man has started off hot. He had 26 points and 44 points in the first 2 weeks and has went straight down to 14 and 10 points in the next 2 weeks. His targets have gone down as well from having 15 week 2 to 6 week 4. This player we're talking about is Tyroyle Smoochie Wallace. Weekly tool radar. Watch out for him.
Watch out. Make sure.
This man is sure to disappoint this week. Facing Pittsburgh with a great secondary.
Oh yeah. It's a great secondary. They're probably going to lock him up. My guess, he's going to get 8 points.
I'm thinking it's an 8-point week.
Yeah.
Sit him.
All right. As our next player, TJ, RJ, AJ, the fifth. Now, he's been. I'd say he's a pretty consistent guy.
He's a consistent guy.
1 week, he had 10 points. The other weeks, he had 26, 17, and 24. I'd say that's pretty consistent.
That's some great numbers.
Yeah. And the 10-pointer game was against the Los Angeles Clippers. What am I talking about?
The Chargers?
The Chargers, man. I don't know.
Jeez.
But, the Chargers, they're doing good this year. So 10 points is actually pretty good against them. But every other week, he's been doing good.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
This player has been consistent for all 4 years of his career. He's had over 1,000 yards receiving in all 3 of his first 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
And so far, he's putting up a great campaign with 121 receiving yards, 51 yards, 58, and 92 yards, respectively.
Oh, yeah.
His target share is also wide receiver 1 numbers with 9, 7, 8, and 10, respectively, through the first 4 weeks. Lineup lock and a must start.
It is a must start. You have to start him.
Start him.
All
right. I think that's all that we have for today. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you for listening to us, and hopefully you win this week.
Do not lose. I swear to God, if you lose,
I will kill you if you lose.
I will beat the crap out of you.
I will come to your house, open your I hit record.
Wait, let me set my phone. Shoot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good game, good game.
Go. Drop me there. Intro is your intro.
What should we say for the intro?
I was thinking like.
Welcome to this week's starter sit or something like that.
Welcome to the, like, I don't know, like welcome to starting with Sid'em,
Okay.
and then do like welcome to this week's Peele starting with Sid'em.
Okay.
Peele Football League.
Okay.
How about that?
And then I'll say your name and you say mine.